If I had to describe Sigma Tau Delta in one word, that word would be extraordinary.
Wait, one word?
Amazing.
Connective.
Maybe something like community?
Can I use a compound?
It's highly academic. That's to shoot.
Work in progress.
Yes.
That's one
Yes.
word with hyphens.
So my friends and I made up a word because there's not a word for intellectually stimulating. So we've come up with intellimulating. And so I'm going to go with my non-existent word.
I guess I would use one of the words from the motto, and it would be sincerity.
Students today have a certain conception of what the study of English means and what it means to pursue the arts. I think David Foster Wallace once said, the study of fiction is what it means to be an effing human being. And I like to say that everything else you study is something you can apply to life, and the study of English and literature is the study of life.
It's the sense of community that's probably my favorite part of Sigma Tau Delta. You know, it really provides a great environment for English students to connect with one another, and especially, you know, with these group of people who share similar interests.
We come from a school that's not very heavy on arts, and so whenever we're on campus, we're like, oh yes, we're writers, and it's kind of like, oh sure you are, but here, you know, it's a community that everybody loves it as much as we do, and so there's a shared passion that's really comfortable.
To be able to be around other individuals with the same love and passion that I also have, and to share our theories and ideas, that's why I joined.
And so that sense of connection and friendship, all for a kind of common cause about literature, that's celebrating the spoken word, the written word, that's what makes us unique, I think.
Everybody loves what they do, and that's kind of why we're here, so show off our own thing.
In the presentation I gave, it was for short fiction, and the story I wrote had these two brothers in it. And after I gave the presentation, one of the people in the audience came up to me and shook my hand, and he said, "Your piece inspired me to go talk to my brother, or to call my brother." And so I was touched by that. I'd maybe say that's the highlight.
Of those 68 honor societies, I am sure, and I know for a fact, there isn't another one that involves students at the way that we do. And on this level, we've done this on the board because we've got many students involved in the board. Almost no other honor societies has any students involved at a board level. But we do it at the convention in the sense that we will have hundreds and hundreds of student presentations at every convention. And so it's the students who have changed this greatly. If we have 1,000 people at a convention, 800 will be students, 850 will be students, most of whom are presenting papers. They'll never have an opportunity like this, and so we're really unique in that way.
It's been really nice too to go and like just sit up here and then talk with people who are genuinely interested in literature and interested in what you're saying. And so there's just so much engagement, and it's lively engagement that I think that's been really, really cool to see and experience.
I totally agree with that.
I wrote a criticism on the Grapes of Wrath, and Roger as a realistic character.
And I'm presenting on a paper about the necessity of teaching grammar and self-expression in English classes.
I was doing a creative nonfiction piece called Fat. It's really awesome. At least I think so.
I'm doing a piece on Walt Whitman.
I'm presenting on Watchmen. I'm presenting on Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. And we're excited to be here in Portland. Yeah, first time west of Iowa City, so I'm really excited.
And that was the first conference, and presenting on Saturday, so I'm nervous, excited, daunted, looking at all the different things to do. I'm trying to figure out what I want to go to, when, yeah.
For me, it provides an opportunity to excel outside of school. While still academic, it gives me a push to write something for an audience outside of my colleagues and my professor.
Sigma Tau Delta has meant so much to me, both as a student and as a professional. As a student, it was my first opportunity to join an undergraduate organization, a National Honor Society, to be part of something larger. As a professional, it was wonderful to see my own students follow the same leadership paths and opportunities that I had had available to me, and it was just such a wonderful opportunity to see them grow and blossom in their scholarship.
A number of my students seem to join because they can. They have the grade point average, they've taken the right courses, and they don't become active. And those students that do become active and do things like apply for scholarships, submit papers to conventions, and attend them or take leadership roles gain a great deal. So it depends on how much they put in. But you know, they can go pretty far once they start getting involved in developing leadership capabilities and just a sense of poise and learning the way the world works.
It gives them a place to get feedback, to get support, to get opportunities for publishing, presenting, for learning. It's such a great learning tool and a tool for growth, overall professional and personal growth, I think. It's too good. It's a wonderful organization.
I think that so many people lose out by not coming to the Sigma Tau Delta conventions, because so unique to it is the opportunity for undergraduates as well as graduate students in English to present at a truly professional conference. And these undergraduates, especially when they start to win awards, do all sorts of projects, begin to see that they aren't the only nerds around.
The first thing I think of is enthusiasm. And that sounds like I think other conventions aren't enthusiastic, but I do think there's a certain spirit. And I think that's also because we are celebrating language, and we are looking forward to writers who exhibit what we would like to be and what we would like to think is possible for our students.
Personally, it's taught me more about writing than a lot of classes, to be honest. So a lot of confidence in writing and presenting papers. So
you get to see different viewpoints, different people's writing.
Yeah.
What are you excited about here today?
Ann Fadiman. I have celebrity jitters over it. Ask them. Look at how excited. I love Ursula Le Guin.
It was several years ago when Neil Gaiman was speaking at convention. I was at the end of the line, and it was approaching 3 hours when I finally reached the desk. But as he finished signing the books, I leaned over and said, well, you know, you haven't set the Sigma Tau Delta record yet. And I left. He turned to the student handler at that point and said, okay, who set the record?
So many of the writers who appreciate that personal connection, and they're so moved by the fact that students actually love their books so much, and it's that mutual exchange. There's no other word to describe it but celebration, because everybody seems to be celebrating it, the writer, the student, the organization. In a world where the market for publishing is changing so dramatically, it's nice to see that these old-fashioned books are still being held by students who are waiting to get them signed, and we all still value the same thing that's existed for so very long.
As an English major, you can go into any field. When philosophy, history, and English are traditionally real education, everything else is job training. So I think if you come out as an educated person, you'll honestly be successful.
to ask somebody now, what is it to be an English major? What are you studying? When I was a student, I'd say, well, I'm studying Shakespeare and Chaucer and Wordsworth and Austen and a few others. Now it could be any number of things. And as it continues, I don't know where this will go in 50 years, 75 years, but I think that the definition of being in English will change significantly.
In the history of our institution, students went into teaching and religion. Then it shifted to law. Now we have majors who are double majoring in English and economics. We have students who are double majoring in English and biology. Some go to medical school. So I have always tried to show them that you can do almost anything with an English major.
I'm not an English major. I'm actually a bio major and an English minor. But I've always loved reading and writing, and I just really fell in love with the whole concept of being able to express.
Clearly the challenges that we face, again, are trying to convince people just how central, how important, the liberal arts, the study of English, of literature, proved to be. I mean, we have all these people, of course, who are looking at and crying out for good communication skills, the ability to read critically. And certainly English is going to supply that. But when you also look back at national events and the reports following 9/11 and the failure of imagination, clearly that's something, again, that we need and that our discipline supplies.
Looking at the future for the English discipline, for English majors, I think that as technology changes, that's going to be much more important. I really would like to be able to keep the importance of the, I'm fairly conservative about the canon. I'd like to keep that important, but embrace all the new, whatever it is, from blogging, flash fiction, whatever we need to do. And I think the face is going to change that way, because one of the great surprises of my life and getting older is that students and the new generation, they bring many new ideas that I love, even if I don't understand all of them, or even agree with all of them, or can even incorporate them. I do love all of that and think, wow, I wish we'd thought of this.
So as I think about those people who are just launching their careers, and I look back over my career, I'm excited for them because they are on the cusp of what I believe is going to be a joyful career. So that's a good thing. They have an opportunity to teach in a way that I never could have imagined, to introduce kids to ideas through vehicles, technological vehicles mostly, that really has exploded the classroom into something that I never could have imagined.
I would hope that we would continue to do what we've been doing, which is to put our interests into the students, to offer the opportunities, the service opportunities, the internships, the scholarships, the study abroad, and simply to provide a place where we can get together and celebrate what we love.
Oh, I think a lot of it is that as English faculty and writers and readers, we're all storytellers. And Sigma Tau Delta has been a communal story. It's a work in progress always.
I loved him so. I lost him. Oh, whoa.
Planes are like hotels that move through the sky, except sometimes they crash. Ouch.
To be a player or not to be a player? You know, Marlowe, you never could be as good of a writer as me. You broke the #1 writer's code.
Bros before hoes!
We're talking about love, people, and hunger.
The man has all the power. Watch out, man. It's now our hour. Rage! Rage against the